this is Katie, and thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast. And today I'm just so excited because this subject is like my favorite in the whole world. This topic today is designing with intuition, or designing your space using your intuition. And so it's really interesting to think about it this way, but I think by the end you'll kind of be like, oh yeah, I kind of do some of that, but maybe let's try some other. Maybe you could try a few more times of using this and seeing if it improves anything in your space. So we can design with using like all of the most commonly known senses, like sight, sound, taste, smell, all of those things. But there's also these kind of a little bit unknown senses that we can also invite into designing our space. And when I say design, it can be colors, it can be shapes of things, it can be textures, but it can also be how something is used, where it sits in the space, and how we navigate around those items. Excuse me. So one of our senses is proprioception, and that's our sense of movement. So that's when we feel that our joints and our muscles are moving, and you can almost close your eyes and you can kind of feel those movements. And it can also be an automatic response if you need to run or dart to the side, or maybe you're tripping and you're catching yourself. It's that sense of moving your body so that it protects you or gets you to where you're going. The vestibular and spatial and kind of balanced sense is how we're relating within a 3D space. So obviously we're not two-dimensional, and we need to navigate 3D spaces. And this is something of how we are aware of where things are, and how we can reach out our hand and grab a cup of coffee, and how we can keep our balance as we're moving forward. So we're also going to pair those. So it's kind of combining those with also memories and kind of your first reaction to things and previous experiences with things. And so if you take all of those things and also say, well, I'm also going to trust my gut feeling of something. This is what I feel is like designing with intuition. So if you take all of those and you are sitting at, I'm just going to say for instance today, sitting at your desk, and then close your eyes and then ask yourself some of these questions. And you can come up with your own, because I'm not going to know your workspace. I only really know your workspace if we're working together. And that's one of the things I dive in deep. I love working with people on their workspaces, because I think when things feel really good, you're able to just get in a state of flow and do your best work. So here's some questions to ask yourself. You're sitting at your desk, closed your eyes, and you say, where would I reach for a pen? And in that split second, think about which hand you're reaching for. You can do these motions, like follow your first instinct of where your hand is going. And that's actually where you should keep your pens. Maybe you are an artist and you need your paints. Ask yourself, where would I move to find my paints? You may find that your body is actually moving in a different direction from where something is stored. Now, for the most part, if it's like all your paints, like that's a pretty big category, your body's probably going to move knowing that is a huge source. Maybe it's on the left and you're like, okay, this is where I keep all my paints in this container. But try asking also where to find hard to find objects. So it could be, where is my protractor? Where is my staple remover? Where is, and you may not even have those items, but something that may be a little hidden away. And ask yourself, okay, where is this item when I need it? And see which way your body is pulling. And is it kept there? Because your very first instinct of where that object is where it should live. And this is part of muscle memory. This is part of all of these senses kind of coming together and going, okay, for this task, I do this. And so I can, again, talk about this forever, but I want you to kind of try this out and see what comes up for you. Now, it may be that your right hand is always going for this, if you're right-handed or left-handed or vice versa. It may be physically impossible to keep everything on the right in your space, right? It may be that the way that you're leaning may be incompatible with your space. It may be, like a whole bookcase that you want to store all your supplies, and the only place to put that is in one place, is on the left, but you keep noticing you're going onto your right. So how do we rearrange your space to maybe accommodate that even easier? So just a question to ask. And I love to work with people on this. So if you are interested, please get in touch. You can find me at katiesanders.com if you want to do any of that. But ask yourself some of these questions and see what you think. It's also, you can also see some of these examples of kind of gut designing in places that are more traditional design. So when we are hanging like artwork on the wall and the wall isn't centered, or the space between windows isn't, like, it's kind of off, or like, how do we figure out how to balance that hanging art within a space that's unbalanced, but yet it still feels good? And some of this is intuition. It's kind of that, well, this feels the best, and this is where, it kind of can hang, even though there's no precise measurements involved. It's how the eye looks at something and goes, this is what feels best. Also in traditional design, if you are a graphic designer, it's like when you are kerning, which is adjusting the measurement between letters when you're doing any kind of typesetting or, design work with typeface. And often you'll see this for those who are not graphic designers. If you look at round letters like E's and O's next to very straight letters like T's or I's or something, the eye can perceive more space between those letters, and sometimes it takes some manual adjustment to go in and say, okay, make those a little closer together so it feels more natural to the eye. Now, in the case of web typography, it's almost impossible to do any of that kind of typesetting work anymore, because everything reflows and everything looks different on different screens. So this may be a little aged, but if you see any print work, take a look at those kind of letters and see if they're actually measured a little closer together to make it more comfortable on the eye. So all of this is like, and you can use that in your own space. When you see something next to something else that maybe something's really tall, but something is kind of more round, having them pushed a little closer together than maybe something else to balance it out on the other side, you may find that it just feels right, right? So anyway, again, I could go on and on, but I just want to leave that there. Try it out. See what you think. DM me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I would love to hear if you have tried any of this within your space. So thank you again for joining me on My Senses, My Space.